The 2026 World Cup in North America is going to be absolute chaos, and in today's video I'm going to be explaining to you guys why, in my opinion, this could be a pretty horrible World Cup. As we all know, the World Cup is the biggest competition in sports history. Ever since it began almost 100 years ago, it has been going for every 4 years, and it is absolutely fantastic. There's crazy games, crazy scenes. Obviously, the winning country goes absolutely mad, and it is the most liked and watched competition in the world of sports. But this year, I think there could be a lot of major problems. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys 4 or 5 problems that I think could occur during this World Cup. And me living in Canada, I've seen a lot of these things happen firsthand. So I'm a little bit scared. As always, if you enjoyed this video, remember to subscribe to the channel, as I'm trying to hit 6,000 subscribers before the end of 2025, and there's only 1 week left. So please help me hit my goal of 6,000 subscribers. It would be greatly appreciated. But without further ado, let's get right into this video. The first thing I need to talk about is the rising ticket prices in the 2026 World Cup. Now, me living in Canada, I've never been to a World Cup match, but the prices that I'm seeing for this World Cup are absolutely crazy. They're out of this world. So if we take a look back to the 2022 World Cup that took place in Qatar, if we look at the group stage ticket prices, you can find tickets for under $100. It wasn't that hard to buy tickets for under $100, but for the most part, they were ranging from $100 to a few $100s. Now, obviously, the later stage games, like in the semifinals and the finals, were much more expensive, but even the prices for the final match don't even compare to the group stage prices of this World Cup. As you can see right here, I'm on SeatGeek, which is a very popular website to buy tickets to sporting events in North America. And if we look at one of the opening matches, since I'm in Canada, let's look at the Canada versus whoever else makes it. $2,000. $2,238 is the cheapest ticket for Canada versus whoever makes it between Italy, Northern Ireland, Wales, and Bosnia. Bro, $2,000 for a group stage ticket. Now, hold on. This is the Canadian opener, so obviously there's going to be the opening ceremony. It's going to be vibes. It's going to be cool, fun. But $2,000? Let's look at another match, right? Because maybe I wasn't giving them a fair chance. Obviously, there is the opening ceremony in that game. So let's look at a game where there isn't an opening ceremony. Let's try and find another game in Canada. Let's go to this game right over here. Ghana against Panama in Toronto once again. $573 is the cheapest ticket. $750 for the second cheapest ticket to watch Ghana against Panama, a pot 3 and pot 4 team. No disrespect to Ghana and Panama, but realistically, they're definitely one of the worst teams in both pot 3 and pot 4. You gotta pay $500 to go see a game like this. Imagine if it's actually a decent team playing. You're gonna be paying almost $1,000 for a group stage ticket. To be fair, we've only looked at Canadian prices, so let's look at a game taking place in America. Here we have Japan versus Netherlands in Dallas, Texas. Decent game. Japan versus Netherlands should be a decent game. $930. $1,000 to see Japan against Netherlands. They're not even the two best teams. In the last World Cup, you can get tickets for the semifinals, quarterfinals for less than this. And here we're seeing group stage tickets for $1,000. I mean, I have family in Italy. This is a whole month worth of work. This is how much they get paid per month. And you got to spend this for one game? It's ridiculous, man. I'm sorry, but these prices are out of this fucking world. It is so crazy that if I want to go see the opener, which may be between Canada and Italy, which I would love to see, I'm going to have to spend $2,500. I'm going to have to spend the same amount of money that I paid for my car to go watch Italy against Canada in a group stage game. Moving on to the second problem in the 2026 World Cup is the travel distances. I know a lot of people that are going to be coming to this World Cup are going to be coming from South America, Europe, Asia, Africa. But if you have not been to North America, you do not know how big everything is. Everything is big. The food is big. The people are big. But the countries are huge. I live in Canada. I'm pretty sure Canada is the second biggest country in the world, and USA is like third or fourth biggest country in the world. And Mexico is also very big as well. To get from one side of Canada to the other side of Canada, you have to take a plane. If you were to drive from one side of Canada to the other side of Canada, it would take you like 30 hours. Look, there's games in Canada, there's games in Toronto, and there's games in Vancouver. So let's say you want to take a vacation to Canada, you want to see a game in Toronto and see a game in Vancouver. Toronto travel time to Vancouver. Sorry for my slow typing. Direct flight, 5.5 hours. Driving 40 to 50 hours. 40 to 50 hours. So if you want to see a game in Toronto, Canada, and then you want to see the next group stage game in Vancouver, Canada, you have to drive for 2 days straight. How are you supposed to do this? How are traveling fans from Africa, from Europe, from Asia supposed to get from one game to another? It's gonna cost so much money. It's gonna take them multiple days. It's going to be literally impossible. Now, let's take an American example of this. Let's say you want to watch that Japan versus Netherlands game in Dallas, and then the next day you want to watch Belgium versus Egypt in Seattle. Let's see how long it takes. Dallas travel time to Seattle. 4 hours and 30 minutes on a non-stop flight. Driving 2.5 to 3 days of driving. 40 to 45 hours. We're done. This is the first World Cup that they decided to make it in 3 different countries, let alone 2 out of the 3 countries are arguably the biggest, not arguably, factually, some of the biggest countries in the world. And there's so many different cities that these games are being played in. We're seeing them in Dallas. We're seeing them in Philadelphia. We're seeing them in Seattle. We're seeing them in Los Angeles. We're seeing them in Toronto, Vancouver, Guadalajara. We're seeing them all across North America, all across a continent. How are people supposed to watch multiple games? If they can even pay for that, I don't know. But this is crazy. This is just crazy. And if you haven't been to North America, you don't know how fucking long it takes to get everywhere. I'm from Canada, and for me to get from Toronto to just outside Toronto, it takes already 2 hours. So this is gonna be a real big problem for any fans coming to this World Cup. Moving on to the third possible issue in the 2026 World Cup is the weather. Obviously, in the summer of 2025, we saw the FIFA Club World Cup take place in America, and it was a very interesting tournament. We saw teams from Europe, from Asia, from Africa, from South America, North America. We saw all different types of clubs compete in this tournament, and it was a pretty good tournament. But the one thing that everyone was complaining about was the weather. The weather in North America is honestly bipolar. Canada is not as bad. Canada is just cold all the time. But in USA, you see thunderstorms, you see sunshine, you see heavy rain, you see tornadoes, you see snow, you see 50-degree weather, you see every weather you could imagine under the sun. All different types of temperatures, all different types of conditions, rain, everything. And in the Club World Cup, we saw almost every single game had some sort of stoppages. We saw some games stop for 2 to 3 hours due to rain and thunder. Imagine that in a World Cup. Imagine a World Cup final game, and in the middle of the game, you have to stop the game for 3 hours. Imagine that. Imagine you see a crazy final. Argentina against Portugal, Messi against Ronaldo, and in the middle of the game, you have to take a pause. Everyone has to go hide and shelter because there's a tornado warning. Imagine that was to happen. Imagine the chaos that would follow if that was to happen in a World Cup final, let alone not even a World Cup final, semifinals, group stages. Imagine group stage games between big countries. Brazil versus Morocco, England versus Croatia has to be stopped for multiple hours due to poor weather. That's USA. That's North America. And that's what's going to happen in the 2026 World Cup. And the final problem in the 2026 World Cup is the new format. Now, the other problems have all been problems due to the climate and the conditions in North America. But this is more of a problem with the actual World Cup itself, because obviously this is the first year where we're seeing the expanded tournament, where we now have 48 teams, which is 16 more than the original 32. And what does this do? Honestly, it dilutes the quality of the World Cup. I love how more teams can get into the World Cup. I think it's fantastic. Sadly, Italy might still not get in. But I love seeing all these smaller nations get a chance to compete on the world's biggest stage. But I'm sorry, look at some of the teams we have. We have teams like Haiti, we have teams like Curacao, we have teams like Cape Verde, we have teams like Panama, we have teams like New Zealand, we have teams like Jordan. And no disrespect to any of these teams, even teams like Uzbekistan, there are good teams and they could cause an upset. They could play absolutely fantastic. And I would love to see that. I would love to see a team like Saudi Arabia get a crazy upset against Argentina once again. But realistically, the way this tournament was formatted before, it's only the highest quality teams in the world. And every single match is of the top quality. Now, in this tournament, just to reference back to the Toronto game between Ghana and Panama, I don't know how many people are going to go watch that game. I'm not really interested in watching that game, and I live in Toronto. And I'm not sure how many other people would be interested in watching that game either. Look at Group D, for example. We have Australia, USA, Paraguay, and one of the teams that could qualify through the European qualifiers. I'm sorry, but that is a very low quality group. And I don't think we've ever seen groups like this in previous World Cups. You look at a team like Australia, they're currently ranked 26th by FIFA. You look at a team like Paraguay, they're currently ranked 39th by FIFA. And a team like USA are ranked 14th by FIFA. So the best team in that group is USA. In most other World Cups, if USA were in any group, they're always the worst team. They're always usually the team that you think, they're probably going to finish last place. In this World Cup, USA are the best team in Group D. And like I said, I don't mean to disrespect any other countries. I love the fact that it's expanded, that we get to see teams and countries like Haiti, like Paraguay, like New Zealand. I think it's fantastic. But I think they could have formatted it better so that we don't see a group like USA's group, where USA are the top ranked team and they're ranked 14th in the world. Or a similar situation with Mexico's group, where we see Mexico are ranked 15th by FIFA, South Africa are ranked 61st by FIFA, and South Korea are ranked 22nd by FIFA. So once again, Mexico being the top ranked team in their group at 15th. In any other World Cup, whatever group Mexico is in, they're not one of the worst teams, but they're usually around a mid-table team. You know, you'll see them finish in second, maybe third. But to have groups where Mexico and USA and these countries are the top teams in the group, it's just a poor group. And I think FIFA needed to format this better if they wanted more competitive groups and if they wanted to be a little bit more even. Though some of the hardest groups, like if you look at Group I, where you see Senegal, Norway, France, all these teams are top teams. But then you have a group like Group D, where you have USA, Australia, and Paraguay. You know, they're all okay, but there's no real crazy team in their group. So I just think it kind of dilutes the quality of the whole World Cup. And that is the end of this video. Those were 4 problems that, in my opinion, could really affect the image of the 2026 World Cup, and it could cause for a very chaotic World Cup. If you guys agree with my opinion, remember to leave a comment down below and let me know if you guys think that there is some problems with this World Cup and anything that you think that FIFA could have done a lot better. As always, I'll read every single comment and make sure to reply. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos.